What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Filip Latocha. Today we're going to be talking about my post-Chicago triathlon training leading into the Chicago Marathon, which at the time of this recording is about just a little over 2 weeks from now. So before we get into it, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you're already subscribed to this channel and enjoying this content as it comes around, love you guys very much. Without further ado, let's just break it down and let's just talk about it. So of course, one of the things to note is that I haven't really put out a video in quite some time. I think it's been about 2 weeks since I made a video, and to me that's okay. I don't know what the YouTube algorithm necessarily thinks about that, but I've just been focused on a lot of other things going on in life, whether it be work stuff, the Chicago Marathon training, and real specifics, and just making sure all of that is correct, and just some scheduling changes. So it's not like I completely forgot to make videos. I have a whole list of things I got to do that are up there that I'm going to upload in the next coming days. But this particular video I wanted to make about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago. I just don't remember when the Chicago Triathlon was. I think it was 3 weeks ago. And anyways, yeah, basically Michael Coe put out a video similar to this one about 3 weeks ago where he was discussing his transition from the Chicago Triathlon to the Chicago Marathon training. And we're basically working in the same we're working with the same constraints, I guess, is that we haven't done too much distance running during the Chicago Triathlon training. And now that we're about 6 weeks away at the time from the Chicago Marathon, we have to jumpstart everything. So basically, I'm going to show you guys how I did that, what I've done, and what the distances are as they kind of go along. So right here is the week of the August 23rd to 29th, and that's basically my return trip from Silverthorne to the Chicago Triathlon weekend. And obviously there wasn't a whole lot of distance because there was a lot of traveling, a lot of taper, so didn't go too hard on much of that. The week after that was crunch time, and that's when I start pushing in my first 60-mile week. As promised, I knew I had to get this done if I was going to get into a position where I can start having a strong fitness for the Chicago Marathon. The week after that was about 59 miles, 59.3 to be exact, so it was probably still within that echelon of the 60-mile range. I probably just lost a little bit of distance just doing something, but the idea is that it's close enough where I'm not ultimately too worried about it. There was probably some sort of cross-training going on here and there. The week after that, I hit almost 65 miles, which was last week, and my distance run then for sure was about almost 17 miles, so I started, upping my long run, and this is when obviously a lot of fatigue in my legs starts kicking in, so now I feel the common culprits in my distance training, which is, sore IT bands, sometimes my peroneal tendons flare up, my left quad teardrop muscle will sometimes flare up, so I have to put some kinesio tape on that as well. And for the first time in a while, thanks to reintroducing, whoa, I almost lost my phone there. Thanks to reintroducing the Brooks Hyperion Elite 2 into my training program, I forgot that this shoe is kind of stiff, despite it being a carbon plate Roadrunner daily racer shoe. Because it is so stiff, it is kind of impactful on your shins, so I start experiencing a minor shin splint in my left leg, but again, I'm not too worried about it because shin splints is something that just kind of passes by. For some people, they can't tolerate that pain. I've gotten very used to it, and this is just the first time I felt it flare up in a very long time, so had to be careful with that, of course. And then this week, I'm filming this on a Saturday, and Strava likes to record distances from a Monday to Sunday basis rather than from Sunday to Saturday. So it's showing that I'm at about almost 48 miles this week so far, but tomorrow, which is a Sunday, is assumptively going to be my 20 to 22 mile run. So if all goes well, I'm going to have something within the 65 to 70 mile range, as I've wanted to do, because obviously getting to the 70 mile peak was basically the plan since day one to get there. So yeah, it's so far coming along pretty well on paper, but there's a couple of things we need to obviously discuss relating to the inners of this training program as to why it kind of worked and why I personally think it should have been better and why I'm still nervous about the Chicago Marathon overall. Okay, so all of the work post-Chicago Triathlon is basically beginning here, so that's the run. Okay, cool. It looks like, yeah, so immediately the day after the Chicago Triathlon, No rest allowed. I have 7 weeks to get into marathon shape. I think it was more like 6, but I guess I said 7. Maybe just including like some layover stuff. Doesn't matter. Point is, I'm right back at it. I'm running 6:20 pace for 8 miles at 50 minutes, 11 seconds. Cool. Fun deal. And of course, there's some weightlifting, of course, in the background. And it's still pretty trash after the Chicago Triathlon, but the work must go on. Yep, so obviously what's happening now is I still have some residual altitude fitness that I obtained from Silverthorne, and it's definitely beginning to fade away as we're going along. So whatever advantages I may have had cardiovascularly are going to be, diminishing now as the training program goes on. And let's see, we get 9 miles at 6:31 pace, so I guess I just really wanted to get a 15K in there. And then had an awesome day at work. So my workout naturally would feel great. That's true. So if you have good emotions during your work day or anything sort of within the day that keeps you in good spirits, your run is just naturally going to feel pretty good too. And here's now the trend that's happening during my Chicago Marathon training, which I think has happened for the last 4 years of this particular type of training block, is that in this last month, particularly September, leading up into October, for some reason, I push all my runs into the afternoon/evening, and I think it's mostly due to my work schedule, but it's also in this particular case to be more in tune with the colder temperatures that are going to be presented during the Chicago Marathon, as I suspect it will be. Even like running in the mornings right now are still kind of warm. In the evenings, it definitely starts to cool down, and that's probably why I'm choosing to do some of these workouts then. And I guess here, let's see, it says it's 74, so it's definitely cooling down. It's not like 90s anymore in the city, but let's see. Legs are still feeling pretty, still feeling yesterday's beat down. Oh, well, yeah, okay, so still pretty exhausted, as I guess we can see here. Let's keep going. Oh, it's the first time I ride the bike since after the Chicago Triathlon. Keeping it easy was more like 6:40 pace. Okay, so yeah, it's just, I'm gradually getting worse and worse as it's going along. And then what happens? Okay, this was the first distance run after, I guess, not distance running in a while, and it looks like an hour 15 for 11.3 miles. Had not in a great space today, just hungry. Yeah, so this is probably the thing I want to discuss, is now at this point in time, it's kind of post-race depression, but it's also like, I'm also getting a little bit nervous about the Chicago Marathon training overall, and at this point in time, like, I'm feeling like, man, maybe I shouldn't be doing this race at all. Like, I'm coming off this awesome Chicago Triathlon. I've got like a runner's high right now for basically wanting to go swimming and biking and, just doing triathlon races, but I've got this marathon coming up, and I haven't really done any major marathon training during the summer, despite having high volumes of work on the bike, in the water, and then just like some running that is kind of like mid to slightly long distance. But now I guess it's all just starting to catch up to me, and let's see. Time to get my mental health in order before the Chicago Marathon. Yeah, so again, I'm not feeling great mentally, I suppose, but this is one of those things that I guess when you're training for the marathon, and you do the marathon, at least from personal experience, is you're going to hit these dark spots and like dark places during your run, and you're almost training through those dark places to basically level yourself again, because when you hit like mile 20 or mile 21 and you feel like the wall, you're also emotionally in a pretty dark place. So it's good to practice running through that dark place of your body, just going like, hey, listen, we can stop, it's okay, like just end the race now. And you're thinking to yourself like, no, I can't give up, we have to do this no matter what. Like, make sure we break through this mind game that my brain is playing by continuing to run. And even if I don't want to get out of bed that morning and do a run or do any sort of workout, you get up and you get the work done. Because why? Because you have one goal in mind, and that's to finish. So I guess in this particular case, maybe this is one of those days I woke up and I'm like, I just don't want to train, I just don't want to do the Chicago Marathon. And I wake up and I bust 7.5 miles, and we're just getting things done. And let's see, another bike workout, and it doesn't look like a great workout, so legs were probably beat up as well, I suppose. Playing in the rain again. Okay, so it started raining finally in the city at noon whenever I was doing this run. It must have been a lunch run, I suppose. And what else? Needs more distance. Okay, so I guess I'm feeling a little bit better if I'm asking for more distance during my runs. And then didn't sleep well last night. This is good. Yeah, okay, so maybe some work stuff was probably kicking in. and now, you know, I can't really sleep all too well. And this is the second distance run of my block, which is the 14.6 mile at 6:20 pace. All right, let's go. Perhaps my marathon dreams are still alive. So, okay, maybe I'm mentally making a comeback, and I believe this was 2 weeks ago. So, yeah, okay, now stuff's getting a little bit better. It's not quite the best distance run of my life, but, like, it's better than it was before. And, of course, chugging along, legs are still recovering from yesterday. Okay, so these are all the little residual middle runs in between. Distances aren't too crazy. The Hyperion Elite 2s are back in the lineup. Cool. Ah, yes, we must introduce you to my new race shoe while I'm still screen capping this. So let me just pause this. And, of course, the Hyperion Elite 2 is my tempo/threshold trainer for these particular workouts. But my official race shoe is no other than the Alpha Fly in the red, white, and pink color. And I've added some additional red because I seem to bust my toes on this shoe, and I'm just basically bleeding in this frontal toe box area. So this is kind of a tangent, but this shoe has slight variations from the original Alpha Fly I bought last year. I may discuss this in a different video, so we're all caught up as to what's changed with this particular model from 2021 versus what's happening in the 2020 model. So that's kind of the tangent, but the current plan is to race with this shoe, and I love the feel of it. I'm going to show you one of the runs I did in it that basically kind of was my breakout run, which was really fast and it was really fun, and I was chasing some other people down who were doing their Chicago Marathon training blocks, and yeah, it was just a good time overall. It was a smashing time, I guess you can say. Okay, and I believe this is the run right here. We're breaking in the marathon shoes. 5:50 pace for 6.5 miles. Is there any particular analysis we can look into on this? Well, yeah, there was some threshold and zone 3 heart rates. Yeah, okay, it was crazy. Where are my paces for this? Is this, like, down here, perhaps? 5:44, 5:21, 6:05, 5:45. Yeah, so this was a fast debut run in the white Alpha Flies. So, yeah, basically chasing down a group of other dudes running in their Alpha Flies. It was hilarious. It was lots of fun running with a group. Essentially, I miss running with other people, and, like, I don't know a whole lot of people in Chicago who, like, run. And I'm not even saying, like, good runners. I'm just saying people who run, and I gotta change that. I want to start, like, running with people more often. Basically, having that camaraderie would be pretty nice overall, but, you know, I gotta find, like, a running club or something, and then there's some other plans coming up this month that, like, might change that ultimately, but we'll see. No promises on that either. So anyways, moving on. Whoops, let's see. So yeah, it's still keeping up some mid-distance things. And then we have last week's distance run, which was almost 2 hours at 16.9 miles. So it was like 17 to be exact. It wasn't a fast run, but I was using my black and green Alpha Flies for that run. And yeah, it just was pretty much dragging for a little bit towards the end there. So I was getting a little bit nervous about my distance after the half marathon mark, and I think it was coming down to this just being a really, really hot day. If I'm not mistaken, 85 degrees. Yeah, that's not a good kind of running day for at least me. I would need something like closer to like the 60s or 70s, kind of like today, to basically have a really good distance run, because you need to be able to cool down, and if you're sweating, you're really burning a lot of fluids that you would have otherwise at least didn't need to consume during your run to not feel like you're going to pass out or like feel that extreme dehydration. And that's why the Chicago Marathon is so great, because it's like early October, it's just beginning to get cold. You can wear a tank top when it's like 40 degrees outside and you know what's going on. Like, you're not going to have a bad day whatsoever from a nutrition like fluid standpoint. But if it starts snowing or it starts raining and it gets like really cold, then you better watch out. But like, if you know you're going to have a good run because you trained well for it, it's going to be a fun time running in a tank top when it's like 40 to 50 degrees. But anyways, yeah, moving on. So this was this week's running block, and I talk about White Boy Summer. Cool. All right, let's go. Crosswinds. Oh yeah, it was a pretty windy week because it's now beginning to cool down a lot more. So, oh yeah, and this picture with the Mach 4s. Yeah, okay, you can see in the Kinesio tape that distance run definitely had my left teardrop quad muscle kind of sore. My left shin was sore from the Hyperion Elite 2s. And you can't see it too much of it, but I do have 2 kinesio tape strands on both peroneal tendons on the sides of my calves. Not too great as well. And then of course I did another pseudo distance run kind of experiment in the white alpha flies, and I did break 5:59 6 flat for almost 11.5 or 11.2 miles in this case. And yeah, it was fun again. So like the shoes are performing well, but as you can see by my comment, bleeding toes and race day shoes are going to be an issue. Yes, they are. So I got to figure out a way to properly tighten them so that doesn't happen. And I got to wear a sock and make sure like my toenails are cut first. Make sure they're cut in a way where they're not like going to dig into the other toes. And I got to wear a good sock that isn't going to compress them too much. So yes, the little things do count when it comes to the marathon, and it comes down to socks and how you cut your toenails. If you're a marathon runner, you already know this, but like if you haven't like, you know, followed any of these kinds of things, like it's kind of unknown to most people. But okay. And then today's run, I kept it short intentionally because I had some plans today and I knew that tomorrow was going to be a 20-mile attempt. So keep it easy today or something like that, and it should be all good. So again, overall, the marathon training thus far has not been bad in terms of like the last 6 weeks of training, but I do wish that in this particular instance there could have been a little bit more distance work done in Silverthorne. But part of the problem there with Silverthorne in particular is that at 9,000 feet, it's not very easy to run for a very long time at that elevation. So getting that distance work was not very easy, but doing like minimal work paid dividends during like a mid-distance triathlon. So being able to run like a 10K at 9,000 feet will pay, like it will do immensely well for you in the long run during the Chicago Triathlon when you run the 10K race there. And as you can see, I had like one of the top 10 best times that day for the age group runners overall, just from, you know, having that altitude training in my arsenal. But again, coming back to Chicago and doing the distance work is a sign of relief for me. But again, just at this point in time, I'm running out of time, and if I don't nail this 20-miler and if I don't feel good about it, I think the ultimate goal now is just do the 20-miler and then just slowly start to taper off, but like try like one more half marathon simulation by the next week or like 3 or 4 days after the 20-miler, just to kind of rebuild some confidence and then seriously begin to taper off. But right now, I'm still a little bit nervous that sub 3 and then like sub 245 is kind of within scope. But again, everything's going to be determined by race day. But at this point in time, I'm a little bit nervous despite my Strava times. Like, again, I'm feeling good during these days. Like, I eat a good meal beforehand. I have the right nutrition. I have water accessible. But you never know what it's going to be like on race day itself. So, yeah. First things first, get this 20-miler done. At the time of this video, it's probably going to be today that I'm doing it, but like for right now, it's tomorrow. So again, we'll just see how it goes. So anyways, yeah, that's kind of where I am with my marathon training thus far. And if you enjoyed what I was posting there, make sure you follow me on Strava. You can just follow me by my first and last name or like my YouTube channel. And speaking of which, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more Chicago Marathon content and stuff leading up to other bigger and better races as we go along. So if you enjoyed the video, of course, smash the like button. And yeah, if you guys have any cool marathon training tips, or if you guys have a similar scenario where you are within like a 6 to 8 week marathon training block, definitely let me know below kind of your strategies for it. If you've got like veteran knowledge of like, oh yeah, my body's just used to it, I can train for a marathon in 2 weeks and I'm ready to go. Like, cool, like let me know that that's what you do, because I believe that. So anyways, yeah, I think I'm gonna end the video here. I'll have an update some other time after this 20-miler, I suppose. But thanks for watching this video. See you guys real soon.